Well, Bob Iger has held his emergency town hall meeting with employees and staff at Disney, and it sounds like there's going to be some major changes. There's going to be a lot of cutbacks, and I think that is inevitable. I talked about in a video yesterday. The last 13 films combined for Disney has led to a $750 million loss, with only one out of the last 13 films making money. It's absolutely nuts. Well, now Bob Iger's out there saying, we're going to be taking quality. We want quality over quantity. Apparently. Now, I haven't seen quality from Disney for a very long time, but this could be a nod to the fact that we have an immense level of superhero fatigue. And this also goes to when I talked about why these movies are failing, why Marvel movies are failing now. It's because they're no longer an event. They're no longer water cooler television shows or movies. No one cares. No one cares. And once you lose that, and I can just stream it whenever I want, after the fact, you're going to start losing a lot of money at the box office. Disney execs talk quality over quantity. Plug Parks say ESPN is still eyeing a 2025 direct-to-consumer launch. What? Bob Iger and top executives stressed a commitment to quality over quantity as the studio's film slate has had a bumpy ride. Talked up the parks, and ESPN looked at its future of television in an anticipated all-hands-on-deck town hall today, 1 year after the Disney CEO has returned. I spent the year with the team fixing a lot of things, Iger said, but I feel we've just emerged from a period of a lot of fixing to one of building again. And I can tell you that building is a lot more fun than fixing. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't think, I don't know how, I forget how long Bob Chapek was there, a couple years maybe. Basically, all the movies that came out, from what I understand, were created under Bob Iger. All the decisions that Disney we saw realized in the past 2 or 3 years are not Bob Chapek's decisions. In assessing some of our performance recently, one of the reasons I believe it's fallen off a bit is that we're making too much, Iger said. I think when it comes to creativity, quality is critical. And of course, quantity in many ways can destroy quality. Storytelling obviously is the core of what we do as a company. I mean, I think that, you look at what Disney, that's a lot of copium. People are still going to the movies. I don't know how many times I'll make this example, but, $1 billion from Oppenheimer, $1 billion for Barbie, $500 million on a $40 million budget for Five Nights at Freddy's, or whatever it is. He goes on, I knew there would be a myriad of challenges I would face coming back. I won't say that it's been easy, but I've never second-guessed the decision to come back. I don't believe you. And it feels great. I talk about optimism being an extraordinarily important trait of a leader, because no one wants to follow a pessimist, but I also believe that the hopeless optimism doesn't do anyone any good. I think the real reason we have Disney is to be optimists. So attendees at the in-person in New York City appreciated Iger's sense of showmanship at the Broadway venue that is home to The Lion King, but one thing did not go very well. No Q&A. Resulting in some grumbling as the lights came up and staffers filed out. A few told Deadline they felt the lack of direct feedback wasn't clearly communicated in advance. Well, yeah. Of course they're not going to take questions from people, because then they'd have to answer those tough questions. Pom-poms were waving on Disney theme parks, with D'Amaro noting a $60 billion investment at the division and underscoring how attendance has rebounded since the coup. The success of Frozen Land at Hong Kong Disneyland shows Disney still got the touch of bringing franchises to life. I don't even know what is it. I'm assuming Frozen, the movie, I mean, I would assume. Bergman, as Iger did today, has in recent months acknowledged a year of misfires, with the latest Wish following the Marvels and Indiana Jones of the Dial of Destiny. Great storytelling isn't just a box office or rating story, but has a ripple effect on the parks and consumer products. But Bergman promised the studio will learn from what? That's not written right. The studio learned from its down year at the box office and will move on to a slate that includes The Omen prequel. The Omen prequel? A prequel to The Omen? I don't get it. What's the prequel? That movie doesn't need a prequel. By the way, also, can I say, possession movies, things like that, kind of played out. I like them too. They're one of my favorite, genres, but now everybody's making them, and I feel a little oversaturated. And I feel a little exhausted by them. A new Planet of the Apes. So this is what I'm talking about. Here's what their slate next year is. A prequel, a sequel, a sequel, a sequel, and a sequel. That's what they have coming out. A prequel, a sequel, a sequel, a sequel, and a sequel. Nothing original, nothing new. Omen prequel, a new Planet of the Apes. Again, who the hell is asking for another Planet of the Apes movie? Do these people have do they have any idea what their consumers want? I never wanted any of the Planet of the Apes remakes. They didn't need to be remade. This is not going to get better for them. I mean, Deadpool 3 will probably do okay. People like Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds, and he does it really well. Inside Out 2? Who's asking for another Alien movie? Or Deadpool 3 will be fine. I'm not saying you can't do sequels. People do like them. But I think if you're looking at, you're trying to look down the road, you're trying to look down the highway and make me feel like you've got some good things coming, I am not filled with optimism. Sequels, prequels, and reboots. That's Disney's big idea. We obviously want to build our studio back to making not only great films consistently, but to the preeminent status in the business. David Muir of ABC News moderated the anticipated all-hands meeting. The company faces a multitude of challenges, have grown and morphed in the years since Iger's sudden reprised role as chief executive. Things were tough then as well, but Iger's presence has reassured investors and employers. The big news at last year's town hall was no merger with Apple, addressing rumors, and no new acquisitions. All true so far, save for the upcoming multi-billion-dollar purchase of Comcast's stake in Hulu. Iger got down to work unwinding an unpopular corporate structure devised by his anointed predecessor, Bob Chapek, and going on to cut 7,000 jobs. He recently split ESPN off into its own division, and he jolted the media world earlier this year when he indicated he'd be open to alternatives for ABC and Disney's cable networks and stations as linear television continues to decline. I mean, I don't really know how this does not fill me with any kind of hope. Even if they stay out of the political decisions, right? They stay out of making politics. We just talked about in another video. I guess I don't know when you're going to see this video, but they literally have a Christmas movie that has gross stuff in it with kids. Making a 5-year-old LGBTQ, apparently, a 5th grader, and then having him hit on another guy. Why? Disney's priorities right now, according to Iger, are continuing to build out their theme parks, turning ESPN into the preeminent digital sports platform, and bringing ESPN direct to consumers. Great. Now we can buy another flippin' app. Cool. Cool. I can buy another app. Here's, I go to hell. This week they're talking quality over quantity. Next week they'll greenlight another 20 Star Wars spin-offs. They'll probably do a series all about the owner of Cantina. Exactly. I mean, comedy writers themselves can't make this stuff up. Iger goes on and on about quality over quantity as Bergman chimes in about the slew of prequels and sequels. I mean, imagine a car salesman at a big dealership saying, "We've really put our efforts into the latest and greatest technology and innovation in car models. But hey, let me show you the umpteenth edition of our tired old SUV. The classics, am I right?" They don't learn until they learn, but nobody really wants to learn. Their temple, franchise, and formulaic projects bombed this year. They don't have the guts to develop new material despite paying lip service to the creatives and artists. A decade or so ago, Disney leadership went on and on about animation being the DNA of the Walt Disney Company, but all they do is push look-alike animated films with the same tired insert young girl with XYZ family obstacle while remaking their actual animated classics into forgettable live-action throwaways. Wow, based comment. And when it doesn't perform well, they take it out on the employees in the form of layoffs. I would say, I feel like this person either has investments in Disney or they work there. Like, that's a base comment. When do the employees revolt and start pelting them with rotten fruit? Hulu is a nightmare. NBC and CBS have both pulled 95% of their content, and Disney has pulled about 75 TV shows from their platform so they don't have to pay residuals on them. This is, not great. Meeting with your all hands on deck, we've got to pander harder, Nerdrotics pointed out. Yeah, I'd say that's probably what Bob Chapek or Bob Iger probably said. We've got to pander harder, folks. Didn't you know? We have to pander harder. It's not working because we're not pandering hard enough. Give me a break.